Hi, welcome to the setup portion of this video. This is the very first time I'm ever using the Hobonichi system and I'm very excited. I come from the bullet journaling world, specifically the more minimalist approach of bullet journaling. And the reason why I started bullet journaling was because I wanted to find a flexible way in which I could orient, schedule, structure, organize my life that would promote productivity and mindfulness and a sense of clarity. And I intend to use that kind of approach and that kind of outlook with these two planners. I want to keep things simple. And when I say simple, I mean like down to the bare minimum. So I'm just going to stick to these two trusty pens. These are my go-to pens with journaling. These are the Muji 0.38 and 0.7 millimeter gel cap pens in black ink. I want to keep things simple because this is my very first time approaching a whole new method in journaling. And I think in keeping things simple, I establish a baseline, I can get comfortable before I venture out and start adding different elements because I don't want to overwhelm myself right from the very start. I usually use stamps with bullet journaling and even some markers. These are the zebra Mylano markers, but I think I'm going to keep these away for the time being until I feel more comfortable with using these planners. So yeah, I think that's it for the intro. I don't know how this is gonna go. I've not done any planning. I've not done any research on other people's spreads just because I want to keep things, as always, very simple. And I want to observe how my life and the things that are going on in my life will influence the way I journal. Let's start with the planner first. First off, we've got a future log, and I think what I will do is write down the key events that are set in stone, like birthdays, very important appointments, that kind of thing. The reason why I want to only write down things that are confirmed is because I don't want this to get messy. I don't want to use a ton of whiteout. I don't want to scribble over things, X things out, that kind of thing, because I want this future log and my monthly logs too to be a very easy on the eyes point of reference so that when I look at it, I can see exactly what's going on and then I can migrate whatever event or task over to the necessary spread. Let's start with December. I had a chiropractor appointment on the 21st. I will write that in. And then 22nd to the 28th, I will be in Vancouver seeing my family for Christmas. On the 10th of January, I have a midwifery appointment. And then on the 18th, I have a chiropractor appointment. If you have seen my bullet journaling content and you have specifically seen my personal bullet journaling layouts, you will know that I do a linear calendar and I keep it very minimalist where I only write down things that are confirmed, that have already happened. So I keep it very clear and plain to see. And I will do the same thing for this monthly log. However, it might look a bit more cramped because I will also be including my husband's work schedule. So firstly, I will write down my appointments for January. The next thing I will do now is write out my husband's work shifts. So this is the entire month of January that I will copy into here. And since he works shifts, he is prone to going overtime or prone to maybe finishing earlier or starting a bit earlier. And so nothing's really set in stone. So that kind of breaks my rule. However, I will write down what's scheduled so it's easier for me to see like, okay, he's working this day, so I can't schedule something for us to do together, that kind of thing. In order to combat or embrace the spontaneity of his work scheduling, I have a separate calendar for the both of us that we share. It's not a Google calendar or an iCalendar or any sort of digital calendar because we both aren't great with tech and just keeping tabs on that. We actually have a physical big calendar that you just put, on the wall, and that's where I write down the actual hours he works, which I will show you. So it looks like this. I have for December, I've already started writing down the actual hours he's working. So I will have on here the hours he's scheduled for, and then on here is where I write down the actual hours he has worked so that it's easier for me to just check his paycheck and stuff like that, just to make sure that all the hours are accounted for. And then for January, it looks like this. We have this beautiful scripture calendar. So the top part includes a verse from the Bible. It says here, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope." And that's Romans 15:13. I think this is absolutely stunning. And yeah, this is where I will write out all the shifts he actually works. And this calendar is certainly for him as well, where he can write out anything he's got going on, whether he's hanging out with friends or he's volunteering for the church or he's got a bank statement coming up or a bill due. That's where he can write it down as well. So this is a place where we can turn to together as a family. Alrighty, now I will write down his shifts. And that's it. That's all I will do for this planner. Now moving on to the next one. This is the Hobonichi Weeks Planner, and the reason why I bought this as well is because I want to use this for my baby. For those who don't already know, I'm pregnant. My previous video was my pregnancy announcement video. My baby is due in late April. I did not announce the sex of the baby because I wanted to see what you guys were guessing and thinking, but I will now tell you. I know it's no grand gesture. I don't have a totally separate video. I don't have like a reveal video or anything like that. Just keeping it short and sweet. But yeah, my husband and I are having a baby girl, which is so exciting. It's such a beautiful blessing to have a baby girl. We did not have a preference. However, we felt that it was going to be a girl. And so yeah, it is a girl. Our prayer the whole time has been just a healthy, happy baby. That's it. That's more than we can ask for. The intention behind having this planner is just to have a place to jot down any notes, thoughts, feelings, prayers, a record of like maybe her feedings, her stats, whatever it is, big milestones, the little ones too, all goes in here for at least the first several months of her life, since she's gonna be here in April or late April or you know, whenever she's ready to come out or when God wills her to come out. I know there are apps out there that could more efficiently document all those statistics for your baby, but I'm not an app person. I really don't like being on my phone. And so I thought a little notebook where you can throw it in your bag, keep it at your desk or your bedside table is the best way to go. So yeah. This is a future log. I don't know what to do with this page, so I'm just gonna skip it. I don't want to force anything out. I know that when I feel compelled to use a certain page or a certain spread or layout, I will use it. But for the time being, I will just keep it blank. Moving forward, we have some weekly layouts covering from November onwards, and since obviously it's not November right now, I still want to make use of these pages. I think I might just use them as blank pages, a blank canvas really, to write down notes, thoughts, my feelings about this pregnancy, maybe prayers for her. I can just cover the pages with prayers for her. But moving forward, when she's born and all, I have no idea how I'm going to use this notebook. I don't know if I'm gonna section it off into like 3 columns, 3 squares, or write all across, or section this area too, or keep this as a documenting area and this is like a diary format. I have no idea. I will just see how things go. I will use this planner in the way that's most natural for me and most beneficial for documenting all these things for baby and I. And also at the back, we've got a ton of pages, blank pages, for you to write some more stuff. And in this case, more for me to write about baby girl. And that's it. That's all I can do with this notebook. I know this is very little. It was almost nothing, but I know that in the new year and then when baby comes, this notebook will be very well used. And that is it. That is the end of this video. These are all the tools and materials I will be using for the coming year and how I will structure, plan, schedule, organize my life in hopes that I can live a very intentional year, very led by the spirit kind of year, making room for spontaneity and surrendering to what God wills me to do, but also having some clarity and structure so that I can be grounded in what I do. I know this was very, very minimal, like probably way too minimal, but I know that as the year kicks off, I really will be using these notebooks to their full potential, and I will then share with you what I'm discovering about myself, about this kind of method, and we'll see where that takes us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you a great rest of your year and take care, stay safe. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.